This training module is about the MaxFunL categories and how to create a new project and add devices to that project. So what we're going to do is create a project from scratch as an example. So we're going to start a project for a company called Gamma Electronics. So I don't need to go to Gamma, but we'll go to the company multi-view, type Gamma. There's Gamma Electronics. Here's the current projects. So I can do that here. If I want to, I can do that in the MaxFunL multi-view, add a new project. So I right-clicked, add item. That's add project. Comes up with this green form. I'm going to X out of here. I can do that from here as well. Another trick I'll just show right now is from anywhere on the background, I can right-click, add item, any sort of item here. Just here, from any of these categories here, but I want to add a project, and then the detail form is that green add new project. Do select, and there's my new project form. So the project name is going to be iPad charging cart. You make sure this is correct here, something that's descriptive and accurate, that you can understand the project when communicating about it. Spell it correctly, get formatting correctly, because once you enter it here, it's kind of locked down and you can't edit that. The application is educational charging station. The design customer is Gamma. Now this owned by person and permitted to person will fill out with your name. I'll put Dave here. That for you will fill out. The project stage is they're evaluating right now. They're going to build prototypes in August, so 8/15 is all I need to put, and that fills in. Production is going to be in April of next year, 4/15/14. System EAU in K units, 1,000 units. It's only going to be 500, so I'm going to put 0.5 right there. Now the project comments must be syncing here because it's froze just momentarily. Year 1307 is the month, July. DM, my initials. Investigating investigating architecture, project to start next month. And it's going to be purchased at a CM, Creation Technologies in Illinois. I know that because they do all the builds there. If you don't know that, you can always fill that in later. Really, when things go to production, it's important that this sort of a field gets filled in because that's part of the tracking. So I filled this in completely. I hit save, and there it is. It popped up MFL project under Gamma Electronics. So I open that up. There's a little sync happening there. All the things are right, but prototype, they're actually starting the project in August. I was confused. Prototype date is going to be about a month later. They're going to work on this pretty quickly. All the information is complete in here. So now I want to add the device. One device that I'm pretty certain they're going to use is an a microchip part. Again, this will fill in your name automatically, but those are blue fields, so they need to be filled in. This blue means it's a mandatory field. So microchip part, principal part number. I know it's a PIC 32. I want to make sure I get the exact correct part number. So one of the best things you can do for almost all of our lines in this parts list here on the side, parts, I click on there, and there are 37,000 different parts in here from our different manufacturers, different principals, and it's a PIC 32, whoops, got to spell it right, PIC 32 MX110F. And hey, there it is, actually the part I want to use right at the top, first one on the list here. See, it's $1.55 is book cost. It's low volume, so that'll be the resale through the distributor I'm working with, who is Avnet Memic. We'll add that in a second. So $1.55, we'll just remember that. Slide this over here. Principal part number. I got the exact part number, which is important. There'll be one per system. We said it was 155. We're going to get 100% market share. Now, if you know that you're going to split it with another competitor on commodity business, you put 0.5, for instance. The decision maker. The decision maker here for this is a guy called Mark Abrams. I just kind of made that up. Sales manager, not an engineer. Customer part number not known. We're competing against Atmel on this. Channel is distribution. The distributor we're working with, we said it was Avnet Memic, Illinois. Confidence is low. This is actually going to make it to production. And 1307DM space dash space. Next step we need to do is visit with microchip FAE by mid-August. That's the next step we need to do. Now when I save it, this agent message said device detail form will reopen. Fill in all fields in red area labeled microchip. So this is a microchip area here. The end equipment is, this is to explain the inside sales. People have to find a category online. So I'm putting battery charger. This is going to be something that will be in production for 5 years. Microchip FAE, we'll fill that in. Well, actually, it's something we're going to work with Scott Campbell on. Actually, with Bill Anderson we'll work with on this. He's the main guy for this kind of product. It's got USB on it. It's got Ethernet. It's got graphics. So that's on this project here. All of this is correct. It's in concept stage, low confidence. AM updated. That's clicked. 1307 DM new project. I'm just going to type in here bogus. Do not enter. Because this is just a show and tell thing here. I don't want this to accidentally slip through. So another warning here. Did you update the yellow change notes? You just saw me do it. Yes, I did. If not, hit no. I did, but I'll hit no, and that item will reopen again, and you can enter it there. And now my project is complete. And I'm saving it. And then when we save the project, same thing. If you made updates to the project, it asks the question. Did you make notes and reopen the project is one option. I made the change is the other. I made the change, so I'm done. Okay, so this project is done. This will be entered into Model N by the inside salespeople. When they're done, they'll uncheck that, and they'll put a comment in here, 1307 Ti, entered. And yes, I did make the change. So now it's entered into the system. Okay, now I come back a month later. And I'm going to update this item here. Here's the item. I found out actually it's going to be 1,000 units. So up here I need to change it to 1,000, but I can't open it here, so I need to open the project. So this is used in this project here. I can simply double click on there, open that up, changing the EAU to 1,000. Turns out actually the end customer wants it quicker. They actually want it in January, so I'm going to make it in January. So 1,000 in January, the changes I made. Here it's August now, 1308 DM. Project is a go. fast-tracked. There's my update. So that's on the project. Okay, now add the project there. So this still hasn't been updated. I did make, well, I need to make the change in a second. So I need to make the change down here, 1308DM, production date, EAU, comments, because I'm going to change the comments here. Okay, now I'm going to save this here, but I still need to open it, but I'm saving this here. I did make the changes. But now when I reopen it, you'll see those changes I made. Those changes I made, 1K, 11514 is a production date. Those were copied correctly here. System EAU, 1,000 a year. That was changed here as well on this mirror. Here are the notes. Now the one thing I neglected to do, I got to remember to click this AM updated button. 1308 DM. Next step is order samples. All right, so that is done. I've done my update. Made my comments. Check this. Save the item. I did make the comments. Yes, I did. I'm done. Now, what also I found out is they're going to be using some, I've got them interested in using some Tyco circuit protection on this project, this charging cart project. So I'm going to add that part number. This needs to be filled out here. That should populate itself, but all these blue fields, mandatory. Principal company, TE circuit protection. Principal part number is a PESD0603-240. All right, so let me make sure that's an accurate part number. So here we are, PESD0603-240. There it is. Looks like a 5-cent part. So that's an accurate part, 5-cent part. That's disti cost, so we're going to make it 6 cents, not 60 cents, 06. But there's going to be 20 of these per system, so I put 20 devices per system. Decision maker is not always required. This one we're working with Avnet in Illinois. All right, so 1308 DM, sample and quote is the next step. So I save this here and I have report to principal check, so this will go onto the Tyco report. And there it is. And now Tyco doesn't have special fields to enter, so no pop-up showed up or anything like that. But this, here we go, this has all the information in here that Tyco needs to enter. Actually, you know, looking at this, one thing I do need to update is this is now in prototype stage. So I'm going to make this prototype stage. I'm going to update this guy to prototype stage. And then also the project. Oh, I forgot to do that. Production date, so I'm going to change here. Stage. This time I did. And then the project phase also went to prototype stage, so that was updated. And I did make this, reminds me again, if I change some on the project level, I also got to put comments on the device level so it shows up. But I did make those changes, so yes. All right, another month down the road, we have found out this project has been canceled. So what we got to do is, we're not going to report it to the principal anymore. So 1309 DM project canceled. And the device confident is lost. Lost reason project no longer viable. Now we want to make sure when we're canceling projects that all these orange highlighted fields get highlighted or get accurately updated. So I'm doing the Tycho one here. So it's lost, no longer viable. Report to principal. So for this explains this here. Read these instructions and explain how to retire a project. But we're going to have to get it reported for 1 month. So we're still going to report to the principal for another month, but next month we'll click this here. All right. So this guy is good. That'll show up in the report to Tycho that things were canceled. And we'll do the same thing here. 0% lost, project canceled, lost, 1309 DM, status, confidence, comments. I change the comments on the project level. Anything else? Orange, orange, orange. Again, this will get removed later. Got to make sure it gets reported out still as lost. Hit save. I did update the yellow notes this time. I remembered to. And there we have it. So you can see this is lost. This is lost. And I'll hit save. And I did make the change. Okay, now it's October, a month later. I come back, I don't want to see this project anymore, I don't want to work on it, so I want to retire it. So here's instructions on how to retire it to remind you because it's still a couple months away since you last got trained. So what you want to do is go into each part number. I'm not going to report this to principal anymore, it's done. Same with this guy. I'm not going to report it to principal anymore. All the orange fields explain why. It's done. And then, yes, retire project. Click that, orange. We're retiring it. Got to prototype phase and was killed. Project retired reason. Why was it retired? Retired because the project was canceled. All right, so now we've got this project retired. And we are done. And I did make those changes. So now you can see this is retired. When you look at MaxFunL devices, you see these two devices, report to principal, no. See it's lost. But all the data is preserved here that we had this project and we worked on it. So that is that. Now the last thing I want to talk about after going through that whole life cycle of a project is one thing that may happen to you every once in a while. And that is if there's a problem with a project and somebody in management sees there's a problem, the device will be Tom tagged. That's the management tag that only managers should touch, either setting or clearing. If you need to tag something for your purposes, use the My tag. This is just a little flag that you can filter on and that kind of thing. 13. All right, save. Comments were made appropriately. And then, actually, let me open that up again. On the project level, I open up the project by double-clicking here. In this fix-it thing, say Tom noticed something, 1307 TC, production date is in the past. Let's just pretend it is. It's in September. And This is in concept stage. Please fix. So then those comments will be there for you to change when you see things pop up daily at 10 o'clock. There's a trigger set for pop-ups to show up on your computer, or if you log on later, it'll pop up then and tell you that this needs attention. When things pop up, please read the instructions and act accordingly. So we've gone over how to add a project, how to update a project, how to add new items, devices to a project, how to retire a project, and also how to handle when projects get flagged for updates. And that concludes this training module.